Hey y'all, it's Christine with His Own. Thanks for joining me today. And today's video is a follow-up from my last video, which was about how I met my husband, Kevin. And I had quite a few people ask me what that looked like, dating and getting married all within 1 year. So naturally, people have questions, because it's like a short period of time. And so I just thought I would talk more about that and also answer some questions that y'all posted on our social media about dating in general and about Kevin and I's relationship. But before I get into all that, I just want to address and remind you that every relationship is different and unique and personal. So just because this is my story does not mean that it is how every single relationship should go. This is not a dating how-to video. It's not a video to tell you how to date and get married all within 1 year. I am not a dating expert and I am not a love expert. So this is not a video to tell all of you how to date and get married within 1 year. This is not a video telling you that this is the way it should be. This is the way it was for Kevin and I. So just wanted to throw that out there before we start. So Kevin and I's relationship. We started dating in November 9th, and actually got married on November 9th. We did not plan that, but it just worked out that way because, so we had originally been looking at getting married in December, late December, but we had some friends that were getting married in late December. So we looked at all dates, like even after December and then some before, and nothing seemed to be working out between both of our families. And then finally, we looked at November 9th and it worked. So we booked the church. And I think it was after we booked the church that Kevin was like, oh, that's our 1 year anniversary. So kind of fun fact. Got married on our 1 year anniversary. So how our relationship worked. It began long distance. So before Kevin and I even started dating each other, we talked on the phone for about 3 weeks. So we talked on the phone every day and we FaceTimed. And so we did long distance from November to June of the next year. And then I moved to be closer to him at the end of June, and then we got married in November. And I would say long distance was hard, but it was really good because all you had was those phone conversations. So you couldn't get away with just like, hey, how was the weather today? It almost like forced you to be transparent and forced you to be open. And it was really good because Kevin and I had such like beautiful conversations, beautiful, open, honest, transparent conversations with each other. And that was what allowed like our first date to not be awkward. I mean, there were like some little awkward moments, there always will be. But it just felt so easy for us to be on this date together and to have conversation together because we had been talking to each other for 3 weeks. And again, something that I just loved about Kevin was from day one, like our first phone call, he led with such openness and such transparency that it made me feel safe and comfortable to be just as transparent with him. So we kind of started off our relationship just being so open with each other about like what we wanted, what we didn't want, how we, wanted things to go. I mean, I remember telling him, I was like, I'm not somebody who's just gonna like date around for like 5 years. And we talked about how like we really wanted to, be careful about like not over spiritualizing our relationship because it's a whole nother video we can talk about. But we didn't want to, just because we had met on Catholic Match or reconnected on Catholic Match, didn't mean that that was like God's will, you know? So we just wanted to be really careful with that. So anyways, we started our relationship with such, again, like vulnerability. And that's what created such a beautiful friendship between he and I. So as we were getting to know each other, you know, we discussed our core values. You know, honesty. Honesty was huge for both of us. To be very transparent about who we are, what we struggle with, what we want out of life. You know, obviously another core value was our faith, like how important that was to us, how we wanted to pursue that, how that was going to be a part of our lives. We talked about finances, you know, what was important to us, how we wanted to spend our money. Also on a very basic level, y'all, like we were attracted to each other. And yes, attraction grows, but this is something that I have been guilty of, and I know probably some other people have been guilty of, but you feel bad, like ashamed. Like if you're on a date with somebody and you're not attracted to them, you feel this shame of like, oh no, like I should keep on dating them, because attraction grows, and it's not all about being attracted to somebody. Right, it's not all about that, but you should have that somewhere. You should have that just, you know, you should be attracted to the person. You don't have to be madly in love with them on the first date, but you should be attracted to them. And there should be something within you that wants to spend time again with that person. So again, another video for another time, but on a very basic level, Kevin and I were attracted to each other. So, yeah, we had our core values lined up, we were attracted to each other, and also, again, on a very basic level, you know, we like saw this, like, can we be friends with each other? And it was like, absolutely, we can be friends. Because even if this doesn't work out, even if this is not, you know, the relationship for us, on a, again, a very basic level, like, can we be friends? And that was something that we saw, you know, right away. It was like, absolutely. We had so much fun talking on the phone together. You know, we had so much fun spending time together. He makes me laugh like crazy. I make him laugh, not because I'm funny, but because I can be a klutz. So this, like, knowing that, yes, I can be friends with this person, and I want to be friends with this person. And it's been really cool to see our friendship like continue to grow and become deeper, and our bond to become like so strong and deeper as we've, you know, continued to get to know each other, and as, you know, our relationship has changed and we've been married. And so, yeah, so we had our core values we saw lined up. We were attracted to each other, and we could be friends with each other. And yeah, so all those things were kind of like lining up as we were dating, and got engaged. So started dating in November, got engaged in April on Easter, and then married in November. So I ended up moving to Florida at the end of June, and it was so good that I moved closer to Kevin, because we were able to interact with each other on a daily basis. It's like every day, you know, we planned to see each other every day, and that just made our friendship even stronger. But also, like, we learned to handle conflict together, like on a, you know, face to face, because it's really easy when you're doing long distance and all you have is the phone, and it's really easy to not pick up the phone and to talk to that person. It's really easy to ignore them. So when you're actually in the same city and you do things together, then you have to have those conversations, and you have to learn how to handle conflict together and handle tension together. So it was really good for us. And even through our engagement, the process of marriage prep was really good, because that takes you through like so many different levels that you will experience in marriage. You know, you go through finances, you go through fertility, you go through family matters, you go through, you know, past stuff you go through, all kinds of stuff it brings to the surface that you talk about. So yeah, when we were going through engagement, you know, we were going through marriage prep with the priest that married us, Father Matt, and we also chose to have a mentor couple. So we would meet with our priest a couple times a month, and then we'd meet with our mentor couple a couple times a month. And it was so good to have like the spiritual fatherhood, and to have this priest who has dealt with so many marriages and continues to deal with marriage on a daily basis. You know, those are his sheep. So to have that side, but then also to have this mentor couple. So we had kind of, you know, our spiritual father, and then we had this couple that were awesome, like super real, very down to earth, but like, you know, real life examples. So that was really good. And I would encourage you, if you are engaged or soon to be engaged, I would definitely encourage like finding a mentor couple that you and your fiance both admire or look up to, and ask them if they would be your mentor couple, because it was really beneficial for Kevin and I to have marriage prep with the priest, but also to have the mentor couple. So now I'm going to address some of your questions. And one person asked, how did we realize we were ready to get married? Hey, husband. How did we realize we were ready to get married? And again, like kind of what I just talked about. So we had shared our core values, those matched up. You know, there wasn't, you know, we were both of the same faith. We both talked about, you know, finances and how important it was to spend our money and to take care of finances. So we had, so we had our core values lined up. Also, again, like we knew we were ready to get married because we had been growing this friendship, and also like honesty. Honesty was one of our core values, was like being completely transparent about things that we wanted, things that we needed, things that we were struggling with. You know, that was something that again, like led to us realizing that, okay, like we're friends and I trust you. Like it's important that you trust the person that you want to marry. And if you have, you know, if you are still questioning that, that's something that you need to look into. But I felt so ready to trust Kevin and to put my life in his hands because we were so open with each other from day one. So that was kind of really how we knew. Also, we prayed. We prayed a lot together. We prayed separate of each other. And we both just felt like God was inviting us into this. And also that he would be with us. So it's kind of how we realized we were ready to get married. Sorry, I have my notes here. Next question. I had a lot of these questions about physical affection. So a lot of people asked, you know, how we handled physical affection. What did that look like for Kevin and I and in our relationship? And there are so many books that you can read, and there's so many, you know, so much advice that you're going to get from people. But for Kevin and I, honestly, like the best thing that we could do as far as like determining what was okay, like boundaries, what was not okay, was talk about it. Again, like I'm telling you, like we talked about, you know, physical affection and like what we thought was okay, what was not okay, almost every time we saw each other. Almost like, you know, drove us crazy. But it was our way of communicating and our way of making sure that we were in unison with how we wanted to live our life and how we wanted, you know, to protect our relationship. And, you know, it was hard, but it was really beautiful, you know, to share so vulnerably and open about like physical affection. So for Kevin and I, that's what worked for us is, you know, we just talked about it over and over and over and over again, to make sure that we were on the same page. And every time something else came up, we talked about it again. So again, like different things work for different people, but we were not ones that, you know, said no hand holding or no kissing or no hugging, whatever. We just kind of decided again with each other, like day by day, date by date, you know, cause purity and chastity was very important to both of us. And again, like wanting to be united with that person and to make sure that you're on the same page to continue to grow your relationship and to continue to grow in intimacy outside of physical affection. So that is how Kevin and I handled physical affection. The other question I was going to address was, what do you say to people who say you got married too fast? Now, I personally have never had someone come and say that to my face, but I'm sure a lot of people thought that and continue to think that. And maybe some of you think that, and that's totally fine. But again, I would just remind them that, you know, I would say, you know, just pray for us, but also remind them that every relationship is different and unique. Not every relationship is gonna be the same. So you can't say like, oh, well, you know, Susie over here, Susie and Bob, this is what their relationship looked like, so mine should look just like that. No. Every relationship is personal and unique and directed by God. So, you know, I would just share that with them and just say, you know what? This is what we felt like was right for us and what God was inviting us into, and we trust him. So yeah, we're happy. And again, not to say that, you know, getting married, like dating and getting married within a year was perfect. You know, because people could say to someone who gets married, you know, at the age of 20 or 21, like, oh, they're way too young to get married. But I think we all have to realize that growth does not stop after you get married. A lot of people think you have to be perfect, or your relationship has to be perfect when you get married. It's not true, and it won't be. There is so much growth that happens and will continue after you get married and long years after you get married. So, you know, for Kevin and I, we were both in our 30s, and we did not have to go through all this like self-exploration of like, you know, I got to figure out who I am and you need to figure out who you are. Like there wasn't any of that self-exploration. I knew who I was, and I was confident in that. And same with Kevin. He knew who he was, and he was confident in who he was as a man. And yeah, so again, not to say that we don't have any growing to do. We have a lot of growing to do. But it was what we felt like the Lord was inviting us into. We felt confident enough, and we trusted each other. You know, there were no secrets with each other, and a lot of things lined up. And we knew that, hey, this is my friend, and I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. And know that, yes, it's going to be tough at times, but this person is worth it, and I'm willing and I'm ready to sacrifice and give my life to this person. So, yeah, I hope this helps. But again, this is Kevin and I's personal story, and you're welcome to have your opinions about it. You are welcome to have questions about it, but this is just what we felt like was right for us and what we felt like God was inviting us into. So anyways, if you stayed this whole time, because I'm seeing that it's like 20 minutes, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. But feel free to drop any more questions that you have. But thanks for letting me share. And come find us on Instagram and Facebook at Be His Own and Twitter at Be His Own Music. And thanks for watching.